Have you ever felt like you were invisible? The feeling when you are in a room full of people, but no one really sees you. It is a quiet, lonely feeling. It is even harder when the person who makes you feel invisible is someone you love, like a sister or a brother. This is a story about that feeling. It is a story about living in the shadow of a beautiful light, and about loving someone who only ever looked past you. I would like to know your thoughts. What is the hardest part about unrequited love? Please share your feelings in the comments. My name is Amelia, and this is the story of how my heart broke in the quietest way possible. I have a sister. Her name is Olivia, and she is like the sun. Since we were little girls, she was the person everyone noticed. She has a laugh that can fill a whole room, a smile that is bright and confident, and a spirit that is full of a happy, shining energy. People have always loved her, and I have always loved her. She is my big sister, and she has always been my hero. I was never jealous of her. I was just different. If she was the sun, I was the moon. I was quiet. I was shy. I loved books more than parties. I was happy to live in the warm glow of her light. I was Olivia's little sister. That was who I was. When I was 17, a new family moved into the house next door. They had a son. His name was Jacob. And from the first moment I saw him, my quiet little heart did something it had never done before. It jumped. He was kind, and he had a gentle, thoughtful smile. The first time we spoke, he was trying to fix his old bicycle in his front yard. I was reading a book on my porch. He asked me about my book. He did not ask about Olivia. He asked about me. For the first time, someone new was talking to me, and they were not asking about my beautiful sister. He saw me first, and a small, hopeful seed was planted in my heart. We talked a few times over the next week. We talked about books and music and our dreams for the future. He was so easy to talk to. I felt like he really saw me, the quiet girl who lived in the shadows. I started to dream a little. I thought, maybe, just maybe, this time would be different. Maybe this time, someone would choose me. Then, one sunny Saturday afternoon, Olivia was home from college for the weekend. She came out onto the porch while Jacob and I were talking. And I saw it happen, the moment he saw her. The sun was shining on her beautiful blonde hair, and she gave him her big, bright, confident smile. And Jacob's face changed. The gentle interest he had for me was replaced by a look of complete awe. It was the same look I had seen on every other boy's face my whole life. In that moment, I was not Amelia anymore. I was just Olivia's sister. Of course, he fell in love with her. Everyone did. They started dating. And my little seed of hope quietly died. My life became a quiet, constant heartbreak. Jacob was always at our house now. He was always there, in our kitchen, in our living room. But he was there for her. He was always so kind to me. He would smile and say, "Hi, Amelia. How are you?" He would ask me about my schoolwork. He treated me like the perfect little sister. His kindness was almost more painful than being ignored. One evening, the three of us were sitting on the porch. The sun was setting. Jacob and Olivia were holding hands, whispering and laughing, lost in their own happy world. I was just sitting there, reading my book, trying to be invisible. Jacob turned to me, his face so full of happiness. "You are so lucky to have a sister like Olivia," he said to me. "And she is so lucky to have a quiet, sweet sister like you." He thought he was being kind. But his words defined my world. I was the quiet, sweet sister, the background character in their beautiful love story. And he had no idea that my heart was breaking, right there, in the quiet shadow of the sun. The next year was a long, slow lesson in how to hide a broken heart. Jacob and Olivia's love story was a beautiful, bright flower, and I was the small gray stone next to it. He became a part of our family. He was there for every holiday, every Sunday dinner, every birthday. And I had to learn how to be there too. I had to learn how to smile when he walked in the door. I had to learn how to listen as my sister talked about their wonderful future together. I had to learn how to be the happy, supportive sister, while inside, my heart felt like it was slowly turning to dust. Olivia was so happy, and she wanted me to be happy too. She had no idea about my secret feelings for Jacob. She would say things to me, things that were so full of love, but they felt like small cuts on my heart. "Oh, Amelia, you have to meet this friend of Jacob's. He is a nice, quiet boy, just like you." She was always trying to find a boyfriend for me. She could not understand that the reason I was not interested in other boys was because my heart was already full of a love that had nowhere to go. I felt so guilty for my sadness. I loved my sister. I wanted her to be happy. So why did it hurt so much to see her happy? I would look at her and Jacob together, so full of an easy, perfect love, and I would feel a dark, ugly jealousy. And then I would feel ashamed of myself. I was a terrible sister. I was a bad person. So I pushed my feelings down, deeper and deeper, into a secret, dark place in my heart. The turning point, the moment my quiet sadness became a sharp, active pain, came a few days before Olivia's birthday. Jacob came to the house, but he was looking for me. It was the first time he had ever come to the house just to see me. My heart gave a stupid, hopeful little jump, but he was not there for me. He was there because of Olivia. He looked so nervous and so excited. "Amelia," he said, his voice a low, excited whisper. "I need your help. I am going to ask Olivia to marry me, and I want everything to be perfect. You know her better than anyone. Will you help me choose the ring?" His words were like a physical blow. Of course he would come to me. I was the good, quiet sister, the expert on Olivia. I wanted to say no. I wanted to scream, but I could not. How could I say no? How could I explain why? So I smiled, a fake, painful smile, and I said, "Of course, Jacob. I would love to help." The next day, I was in a jewelry store with the man I secretly loved. He was looking at diamond rings. He was so happy. His face was shining with his love for my sister. He would show me a ring and ask, "Is this one right? Is it beautiful enough for her?" I would look at the sparkling diamonds, and I would feel like I was underwater. I would nod and say, "It's beautiful, Jacob. She will love it." I helped him choose the perfect ring. A beautiful, simple ring that I knew my sister would adore. I was helping to build the symbol of their forever, a forever that I was not a part of. A few days later, at her birthday dinner, he got down on one knee. He opened the small box, and he asked her to be his wife. The ring, the one I had helped him choose, looked so perfect on her finger. Everyone in the restaurant clapped. My parents cried happy tears. My sister's face was the most beautiful I had ever seen. I clapped too. I smiled. I hugged my sister and told her how happy I was for her. Olivia looked at her perfect ring, and then at me. "It's the most beautiful ring in the world," she said, her eyes full of joy. "Jacob told me you helped him pick it. Thank you, Amelia. You are the best sister in the world." And as I stood there, in the middle of all that happiness, I had never felt more alone. After the engagement, my life became a series of painful duties. Of course, Olivia asked me to be her maid of honor. It was the highest honor for a sister, and the deepest, most secret kind of torture for me. I said yes, with a big, bright smile on my face. How could I say no? And so, I began the long, one-year journey of planning my own heartbreak. I was with them for everything. I was there when Olivia tried on wedding dresses, I watched her stand in front of the mirror, looking like a princess, her face full of a perfect, shining happiness. I told her she was the most beautiful bride in the world, and it was true. My heart was full of so much love for her, and so much sadness for myself. The two feelings were a constant tangled knot in my stomach. I helped her choose the flowers. I helped her choose the cake. Every happy choice for her future was a sad reminder of the future I would never have. Jacob was always there, always kind, always treating me like his most trusted friend. My new role was to be the bridge between them. He would call me and ask, "Amelia, is Olivia okay? She seems a little stressed about the wedding plans." I would talk to him, and I would help him understand her. I was the keeper of their love story. I was the person who knew both of their hearts and had to pretend that my own was not slowly breaking. The day before the wedding was the hardest. The house was full of family and a happy, chaotic energy. I was in the kitchen, quietly fixing the name cards for the dinner tables, making sure everything was perfect. I was the only calm person in the middle of the happy storm. Jacob walked in. He looked tired and nervous, and so full of love. He stood next to me for a moment, just watching me work. "Thank you, Amelia," he said, his voice quiet and serious. "You have been amazing through all of this. You are the one holding everything together. You are so strong." He looked at me, and his eyes were full of a deep, real affection. "Olivia is so lucky to have you," he said. "And I am lucky too. I finally get to have a sister." His words were so kind, and they were so painful. He saw me. He saw my strength. But he would only ever see me as a sister. The wedding day was beautiful and terrible. I helped Olivia put on her white dress. I held her hand as we walked to the church. I stood next to her at the altar, and I watched her marry the man I loved. I watched them say their vows, their promises of a forever that was not mine. I watched them kiss. And in that moment, I felt a pain so deep and so absolute, it was like the world had lost all of its color. At the reception, I gave my speech. I stood up in front of all their friends and family, and I talked about my wonderful sister and my amazing new brother-in-law. I told stories from our childhood. I told them how perfect they were for each other. The words were all true. I loved them both so much, and every true word was a new, fresh cut on my heart. I smiled, and I laughed in all the right places. I was the perfect maid of honor. I was the perfect, supportive sister, and no one in that room could see that I was completely and utterly falling apart. Later that night, after they had left for their honeymoon, I went home. The house was quiet. I went to my room and I closed the door. And for the first time in a year, I let myself really cry. I cried for the boy I loved, for the sister I adored, and for the girl who had to live in the shadows. As I sat there, with my tears and my pretty dress, I knew I could not do this anymore. I could not stay here. I could not watch their happy life begin, day after day. It would destroy me. I loved them both too much to be a sad ghost in their happy home. I had to leave. I had to find my own life, my own story, my own place in the sun. The decision to leave was the first decision I ever made that was truly for myself. It was terrifying. A few weeks after the wedding, I applied to a university in a city on the other side of the country. A place where nobody knew my name, or my sister's. When I received the acceptance letter, it felt like a ticket to a new life. Telling my family was hard. I told them I needed to be independent, to find my own way. I did not tell them the real, heartbreaking reason. I could not break my sister's heart by telling her that her happiness was the source of my pain. Olivia was sad that I was leaving, but she was also so proud of me. She saw her little sister finally being brave. Moving to a new city was the loneliest and most exciting thing I have ever done. For the first time, I was not Olivia's sister. I was just Amelia, I had my own small apartment, my own classes, my own new life. I focused on my studies. I made new friends. And for the first time, people saw me for me. They saw my quiet humor. They saw my love for books. They saw my kind heart. They were not comparing me to the sun. They were just happy to be in the gentle light of the moon. The healing was slow. For a long time, my heart was a quiet, sad place. But the distance helped. The sharp daily pain of seeing Jacob and Olivia together slowly faded into a soft, distant memory. I learned to be happy on my own. I learned to like the person I was, the quiet, thoughtful Amelia. I was not just a background character anymore. I was the main character of my own story, and I was starting to really like that story. A few years later, I went home for Christmas for the first time. I was nervous, but when I saw Olivia and Jacob, something amazing had happened. The old, painful love I had for him was gone. When I looked at him, I just saw my brother-in-law, a good man who made my sister happy. My heart was calm. They had a little girl now, my beautiful niece, who had my quiet eyes. I held her in my arms, and Jacob and Olivia stood next to me, and we were just a family. My love for them was still there, so deep and so strong, but it was a different kind of love now. It was clean, and it was simple. It was not full of secrets and pain. I learned a very important lesson. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is to walk away. I had to leave the people I loved most in the world to find myself. I had to step out of the warm shadow of my sister to learn how to find my own light. My life is not a big, bright, exciting story like hers. It is a quiet, small, and beautiful story. And it is all mine. If this story about finding your own path was meaningful to you, please give this video a like. Have you ever had to make a difficult choice to be happy? Share your story in the comments below. For more emotional English stories that will help you find your own strength, please be sure to follow our channel.